Hello, and thanks for joining us for this video case tip on how to comment on Wisconsin's BadgerCare Plus Section 1115 Demonstration Waiver. We're going to talk about what that is in a second and how to comment. We're going to even give you some screenshots. But before we get started, let me remind you that we have some links associated with this webcast that you can visit at any time. Some of them take you right to the Medicaid.gov website where you can produce your own comments. We'll show you that in just a second. But if you want to go ahead and start commenting, you can click that link right now by visiting that information button. Let me back up though and refresh our memory of what we're talking about when we say the Wisconsin Section 1115 Demonstration Waiver. We've been giving you updates all along from the moment this was written in the state of Wisconsin and produced for public comment stateside to the time it was handed over to the feds and the feds posted it for public comment. There are 2 public comment periods on this one piece of paper. And this is something that the state is allowed to do by the Social Security Act, Section 1115 of the Social Security Act, where the state can say to the federal government, we think we can do Medicaid better in our state. We can demonstrate, we can make improvements to the Medicaid program that aren't otherwise allowed by federal law, but you're going to let us waive those requirements so we can try this project. Pilot project, demonstration project. Wisconsin has used this quite a bit in the past. This is how BadgerCare was created in the first place and how we added childless adults to BadgerCare in the first place. What the state wants to do now, however, is make changes to childless adults coverage, essentially remove the entitlement for childless adults and instead submit them to drug testing, work requirements, kicking them off of BadgerCare if they don't meet work requirements, and other things like premiums and cover charges for use in the emergency room. There's a lot that is going into this waiver request that the federal government is going to have a hard time approving, but you get an opportunity to weigh in. The state public comment period ended May 19th. They received over 1,000 comments. They then had to produce a summary of those comments, which they did in a meager 8 pages, and then they made a couple tweaks to what those premiums look like and to what that cover charge for using the emergency room looked like for childless adults, and they sent it to the feds. The feds then had 15 days to approve, reject, ask questions, back to the state. They went ahead and said, yep, you sent this in, we got it, we're not asking for anything more, and they published it. That comment period is now open for the feds to receive your public comments. You only have a short window to comment. Comments will close on July 15th, and we're going to remind you of that deadline before we're done today. But I wanted to give you a couple visuals of what it would look like if you want to weigh in on this BadgerCare Plus demonstration waiver. You can go to Medicaid.gov. And right in the middle of the page, there's going to have an opportunity for you to find state waivers. And you can click on that button and search by state. You will see there's a whole bunch of listings for Wisconsin. Waivers on senior care, on foster care, BadgerCare for children. There's a whole bunch of different categories of what Wisconsin has asked for in the past. You're going to be looking for, and we have the picture of it up on the screen here, what looks like Wisconsin BadgerCare reform. That's the entry you're going to be looking at. Even though it says at the top, status is approved, that's the old BadgerCare waiver, the one we talked about that added childless adults for the first time back in 2013, effective 2014. You're going to want to click on that Show More button, and that's going to then produce a bigger screen where you can find the pending application. It's buried. These are the steps to take if you're going to search from scratch. But we're going to give you the direct link. This is available through that information button you see at the bottom of your screen, the direct link to provide comments. If you follow that link, it's going to take you right to the page. Now remember, you only have until July 15th to provide comments, and you can do it by either free typing. On this Medicaid.gov screenshot I have next to me, you can see that they have a space that says, please provide your comments here. And there's just a text box. You can just start typing your comments right on the page. Down below, that second circle I have highlighted, that's where you can upload a Word doc, a PDF. You can attach comments that you might have pre-written. So you can either free type or attach a document. That link we gave you, it's also now at the top of our sources page as well if you need to revisit that. That link will take you to the full page where you don't have to search. It'll just come right up to that comment box and you can start typing or attach your own file. We're also giving you a couple other resources that you might find useful as you start weighing in. Some of those are the plan itself, the waiver as written by the state. We also give you some of the comments that were submitted. Scott Bauer of the Associated Press did an open records request, which is how we know that Wisconsin got 1,000 comments, over 1,000 when they requested public comment. You can read some of those. You can't read all of them. The state did not make them publicly available. You could read snippets that journalists have made available. You can also then find some additional input and opinion from other news sites on this BadgerCare demonstration waiver. You can also give us a call. We'd be happy to talk about it more with you. Remember, you're on a tight deadline. If you want to comment on this BadgerCare Plus demonstration waiver one more time, you only have until July 15th to do so. Thanks for joining us.